Welcome to United Consciousness, where one consciousness, one being, is more than just a belief. It's a movement, a global initiative that unites us all in the pursuit of peace, spiritual wisdom, and universal happiness. It's a global mission that's touching life across continents. If you have ever felt the need for connection, spiritual guidance, or just a sense of belonging, you are in the right place. Welcome to United Consciousness. United Consciousness is not just an organization. It's a living, breathing community dedicated to enhance the holistic well-being of over 3 lakh individuals worldwide. Our mission is simple yet profound. One consciousness, one being. We believe that by connecting with our higher selves and each other, we can live lives filled with purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. Together, we are building a global community that shares this vision, helping each other unlock our full potential. With the presence in over 100 countries, United Consciousness is here to help you thrive in this complex world. So why wait? Join us on this transformative journey. Let's create a world where peace and happiness are not just a distant ideal, but a tangible reality we can all experience here and now.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 6th series of ESG panel discussion. I would request Mr. Mohsin Khan to please run the pre-recorded video and introduction of the panelists.
We are privileged to welcome Professor B.S. Sahay, an eminent educator, researcher, and institution builder whose vision has redefined management education in India. Currently serving as the founder director of IIM Jammu, Professor Sahay has set exemplary benchmarks of academic excellence, global outlook, and national relevance. Under his leadership, IIM Jammu has rapidly grown to offer diverse programs including PhD, Executive MBA, IPM, and dual degree program with IIT Jammu and MBA in Hospital Administration with AIIMS Jammu. His transformative leadership has positioned IIM Jammu as a hub of international collaborations, high-quality research and community service. Professor Sahay's illustrious career includes being the founder director of IIM Raipur, where he oversaw its rise in NIRF ranking and development of a permanent campus. He also led MDI Gurgaon and IMT Ghaziabad, turning them into research-driven, globally respected institutions. With over 39 years of experience in teaching, research, and consultancy, his expertise spans supply chain management, operations, project management, and higher education reforms, widely admired for his visionary leadership, integrity, and dedication. Professor Sahay continues to inspire generations of students and educators, embodying the spirit of transformational academic leader. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Professor B.S. Sahay. We are delighted to welcome Ms. Uma, an accomplished and visionary HR leader with over the 3 decades of rich and diverse experience across IT, automotive, manufacturing, telecom, and FMCG sectors. Currently serving as a financial CHRO of organizations such as Gravity Pharma and RV Designs, and as the adjunct professor at ICFAI, she continues to shape people's strategy and nurture future leaders. Over the last 22 years, Uma has held senior leadership roles, partnering closely with business heads in esteemed organizations including Tata Consultancy Services, IBM, Idea Cellular, Hindustan Petroleum, Ashok Leyland, Mars International India, Granules India, and others. A postgraduate from the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, she brings deep expertise across corporate HR, industrial relations, and multicultural environments, enriched further by international assignments. Recognized for her strategic insight, including leadership and people-centric approach, Uma is also a mentor to students, women, and emerging talent. She has been honored by the Women Economic Forum and HRD Congress for her outstanding contributions. As an academic council member at leading universities and board advisors with Women Eyes, she exemplifies compassionate, forward-thinking leadership dedicated to diversity, growth, and empowerment. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Ms. Uma Rao. I'm delighted to welcome and introduce Mr. Manvendra Singh Shekhawat. He is a passionate visionary in climate change and sustainable development, an explorer, innovator, and entrepreneur whose imaginative spirit has led him to redefine luxury tourism and community building. He established iconic boutique hotels Suryagarh in Jaisalmer, Narendra Bhavan in Bikaner, and Mary Budden Estate in Binsar, revitalizing local heritage and culture while captivating visitors with authentic experience. Driven by a desire to address systematic problems, he founded the I Love Foundation in 2013, collaborating with local communities on more than 30 projects, including large-scale cleanliness campaigns and India's first citizen airline partnerships. His current endeavor, the Dhun project, epitomizes his holistic vision for living. Over the past 8 years, he and his team have transformed 500 acres of barren land into flourishing ecosystem designed for 8,500 residents. The regenerative habitat aims to unite traditional knowledge system, cutting-edge innovations, and a communal ethos to unlock humanity's highest potential, establishing a pioneering blueprint for the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Manvendra Singh Shekhawat. I feel privileged to welcome and introduce Mr. Vijay Sinha, a visionary leader and a firm believer in Level 5 leadership. Currently serves as the Executive Vice President of HR for New Business at JSW Group and $24 billion conglomerate. His stewardship spans across diverse sectors including JSW MG Motors, EV, Cooper Defense, Realty, JSW One, and JSW Foundation, reflecting his multifaceted leadership. With over 30 years of rich experience across industries such as manufacturing, hospitality, retail, and animation, he has exemplified excellence in every role he has undertaken. A graduate from Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, he began his career with Steel Authority of India Limited and was awarded the prestigious Jawahar Award in 2005 for his contributions to HR at Rourkela Steel Plant. His career trajectory includes senior HR roles at Adani Power, JSW Steel, and JSW Energy, where he pioneered transformative initiatives such as setting up shared services for the JSW Group. His profound contribution extends beyond his corporate responsibility. He has been honored with numerous accolades, including the HR Leadership Award, Indra Super Achievers Award, and the world's greatest CHRO 2016-17. As a thought leader, he regularly shares his insight at prominent forums and education institutions, demonstrating his commitment to fostering the next generation of leaders. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Vijay Sinha.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction and the introduction of our illustrious panelists. And I'm sure we all will be looking forward to enlightening discussion on the very, very hot issues of ESG. Let me first introduce United Council for Ancient Wisdom, which is an initiative of United Consciousness Globus to re-establish the timeless essence of ancient wisdom in the present day and age. The Council unite the stalwarts, thought leaders, academicians, bureaucrats, researchers, practitioners, professionals, masters, and philosophers in the field of ancient wisdom. The Council explores ideas, philosophies, and systems from the past to identify relevant concepts that can be applied today. This is happening in collaboration with IIM Jammu, which is the host institution for this panel 6, and would like to thank IIM Jammu for taking a lead and organizing this ESG panel discussion. IIM Jammu is a premier public autonomous institute founded by the government of India in 2016 in Jammu and Kashmir, and in a very short span of time, under the able leadership and stewardship and the current director, Professor B.S. Sahay, the institute has established itself as a reputed institute in the country and is known for high quality education, research, and corporate engagement. Ranked 35 in the NIRF management category, it features a 200-acre state-of-art infrastructure and campus and is known for strong placements with top corporations of the world. So thank you once again, I am Jammu, and let me introduce United Global Peace Foundation, which is the apex organization and is hosting this ESG panel 6. United Global Peace Foundation is a voluntary non-profit organization and is a secular and non-political organization founded by Shri Singh Royalji at Jaipur, Rajasthan. This foundation works to provide quality education to underprivileged children, arranges dignified marriages for orphaned and destitute girls, identifies talented athletes from villages and hidden corners and bring them to national and international platforms. It also supports the needy with healthcare assistance and guidance towards a respectful life. Uh, in fact, United Global Peace Foundation works for environmental conservation and also preserves the art, culture, and heritage of Rajasthan, to name the few. So thank you so much, and would like also to introduce United Consciousness Global Youth, which is also a partner, organization, and aims to identify the potential global change makers from all 6 continents, establishes a voice for peace and unity among future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome the host institute, IIM Jammu, the collaborating, organizations. And before I start the main panel discussion, I would like to talk about the sequence of the entire panel discussion, which begins with introduction of the theme, and then we have 45 minutes for the panel discussion, followed by 20 minutes for open forum, where we'll invite participants to ask questions, followed by feedback, and then closing remarks, and vote of thanks. So this is how it has been. Once again, thank you, Mr. Manvendra Singh, an entrepreneur, our academician, Professor B.S. Sahay, CHRO on the panel, Ms. Uma Rao, for joining and, ready to share your views. Let me introduce the topic. Our topic for today is climate preservation, promotion, and cultural economy of ancient Indian wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, when we speak about climate preservation today, we often speak of language of technology, policies, carbon markets, renewable capacity, and policy frameworks. But long before sustainability became a global agenda, it was a way of life in our ancient, civilization. In ancient India, nature was not seen as a resource to be exploited, but as a living entity to be respected. We all have grown up worshipping the river Ganges and the five elements, Prithvi, Jal, Vayu, Agni, and Akash, all were revered as foundational to existence. Rivers were worshipped, forests were protected as sacred groves, and communities lived with an intrinsic understanding of balance and restraint. Today, as the world grapples with climate crisis, perhaps the question is not merely how to invent new solutions, but how to introspect, or reinterpret timeless wisdom. Can ancient ecological ethics be translated into modern economic models? Can cultural reverence for nature create sustainable livelihoods? Can tradition become an engine for green enterprise? This is where the idea of a cultural economy of ancient wisdom becomes powerful. When sustainability is rooted in culture, it becomes voluntary. When it is embedded in tradition, it becomes enduring. We are privileged to have an academician who will bring depth of his scholarship, an entrepreneur who will understand market realities and speak about it, and an HR leader who shapes human behavior within the organizations. Today's discussion is not about nostalgia and the past. It is about drawing strength from it and asking how ancient wisdom can inform modern innovation, policy, and people practices. Because perhaps the future of climate preservation does not lie only in new technology, but also in rediscovering an old consciousness. So let's begin our panel discussion with the first question with Dr. Sahay. Dr. Sahay, at the time when the world is deeply immersed in AI, technology, digital, decision making, how can management education meaningfully embed ancient ecological wisdom into ESG curricula without diluting the scientific rigor, data integrity, and global standards? So over to you, Dr. Sai.
Thank you. And thank you, panel. Our Honorable Prime Minister, he talked of Panchapran. The first one is goal of developed India. All of us know by 2047, we aspire to be and we will be a developed nation. Second point, which is very much important, is remove any trace of colonial mindset. I'm not sure why we talk in English. हमारी मातृभाषा हिंदी है या हमारी जो भी रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस हैं, हमें उसमें बात करनी चाहिए. वी शुड टेक प्राइड ऑफ इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस. जो 22 लैंग्वेजेस हैं उसमें हमें बात करना चाहिए. और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि नेक्स्ट टाइम जब भी ये कॉन्फ्रेंस होती है या कुछ भी होती है तो अपनी मातृभाषा में इसको बात करें. जब तक ये नहीं करेंगे तो ये सब सिर्फ एक कस्टमरी होकर रह जाएगा. अभी एआई की बात कर रहे थे आप. एआई में आपको मालूम है कि पहली बार पार्लियामेंट में जब फाइनेंस बिल प्रोड्यूस किया जा रहा था तो उसमें 14 लैंग्वेज में इसको इमीडिएटली constantly it was transmitted in different languages. So I think that next time whenever we are talking, please remove any trace of colonial mindset. कि हम यहाँ पे सारे हमारे सुनने वाले हिंदी में हैं या हिंदी समझते हैं लेकिन हम अंग्रेजी में बात कर रहे हैं. तो अब मेरा ये अर्ज होगा कि हमें third thing is that like say we should take pride in our roots. और हमारा रूट इतना ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग है कि इतने हजारों साल की गुलामी की दास्तानों के बाद भी जो है हम अपनी पहचान बना हुए हैं. चौथी चीज़ है यूनिटी. इट्स रियली डाइवर्सिटी इन यूनिटी. एंड लास्ट इज सेंस ऑफ ड्यूटी. जब हम इकोलॉजी की बात करते हैं, प्रिजर्वेशन की बात करते हैं, फॉरगेट अबाउट ESG। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बहुत पहले लाल किला की प्राची से कहा था कि हम सफाई अभियान करेंगे, क्लीन करेंगे। और इसका बेसिक फिलॉसफी यही था कि जो आपने अभी कहा कि पंच तत्व, 5 एलिमेंट्स, अर्थ, वाटर, फायर, एयर, स्पेस। और इस पंच प्रण को अगर आप ध्यान दें, अगर हम इस बात पे फोकस करें तो जितनी भी चीजें हैं, क्योंकि इंडियन विजडम को सिर्फ इट कैन नॉट बी जस्ट कन्फाइंड टू फ्यू वर्ड्स। अभी आपने देखा होगा जब G20 का हुआ था तो उसमें था कि सर्व जस्ट फॉरवर्डिंग कुटुंबकम, sorry for that, and then
So the
recently AI summit also, Sarjan Hitay, Sarjan Sukhay, something like that. Fine. So what I feel is that we have to take pride on what we are. Here I would like to say one thing. Like say, still cities are not clean, places are not clean, but villages are far more organized than the cities. So what is important is that we must understand that what we have to do as an individual, what we have to do as a society, what we have to do as a nation. And we must take pride of that. And once we do that thing, and all these things are coming from our Indian wisdoms. We should need not to say that old wisdoms. It's not, it was never old. The only thing is that with the passage of time, we forgot those wisdoms. So probably we have to see this thing. And it was just linked with the religion. What is important here is that what India has and what India is doing and the way it is emerging in the world, and people are now realizing this. So I think is that there's a great opportunity that when we talk of we have to preserve climate, there is no doubt of it, but that is possible once we focus on our Vedic philosophy, we focus on our indigenous practice, and when we focus on our traditional community economics. Thank you.
Thank you so much for highlighting the importance of Matribhasha and start living the value of our Indian philosophy and Indian Vedic systems. Now let me move on to Manvendra ji, whom we would like to decode from entrepreneurial lens when we are talking about the world driven by AI, automation, and data analytics. Is there space for traditional ecological knowledge in business decision making, or must everything be quantified? Professor Sahay talked from academician lens and he highlighted the importance of Matribhasha. I would like you to wear entrepreneur lens and talk about how this can be done in the age of AI and automation, and how business decision making can be based on ecological knowledge system.
Thank you for inviting me. I think, sir, that AI, or the way that we define technology today, is a tool, and it is an incredible tool. But what are we trying to solve for is a question that is deeply rooted in civilizational intelligence that has allowed this subcontinent to, as Professor said, despite so many attempts at colonizing it, it has still managed to survive. That civilizational intelligence is the foundation upon which you continue the civilization. And AI is a tool. AI is a great tool. AI is a tool which will allow us to do or unlock things that have so far been civilizational dreams. So that's pretty much what I think, sir. AI, I think, optimizes, but intuition orients. There is a reason why, if you see the Jain Dharma, when they say that we should aspire for non-predatory futures, that is a fantastic ideology. When we say Anekantvad, it's a fantastic ideology. When we say Paraspar Sahay Astitva, Abhyuthan, these are fantastic ideologies, civilizational aspirations. It's what separates humans from the rest of the beings, because we can think, and because we wield the paints to paint the next civilizational story. And so I am a deep believer that the integrity and the intention of what we aspire to become and the societies that we hope to create, that comes from traditional knowledge, the lived experiences of many generations. And technology and AI give us the precision, scale, and velocity to extrapolate and expand those ideals. You're on mute, sir.
Thank you so much, Manvendra, and well said that AI is a tool, and what shapes us is the foundation of traditional knowledge, which, and what we aspire for is deep rooted in our foundation. Coming to Umaji, who has been responsible for shaping human behavior in the organization. And I would also like to ask you something related to AI and digital, and I'm trying to figure out different perspectives. So you as a CHRO, we would like to know your perspective that in an era which is driven by, KPI, dashboards, digital transformation, what role must HR play to ensure that sustainability moves beyond analytics and compliance to become part of everyday behavior and culture? Sorry, you are on mute.
Thank you, Vijay, and thank you, United Consciousness, for having me here. And you gave a fabulous introduction to the topic. And truly so, I think organizations play a huge role in furthering the agenda of sustainability and a whole lot of things. In the past, also, they were doing in their own way. And in the current context, the need is even more. So I think some of the things people think is tracking ESG metric is one way of doing it. Actually, that is not. Tracking ESG metric is not sustainability. There's a lot more that can be done to make this happen. For example, are we embedding this into our day-to-day behaviors? It's very important, right? Are the senior leaders role modeling it? Okay, these are ways in which the organization understands. For example, I used to work in an organization called Mars, where it is compulsory for everyone after the meeting to clean the meeting room and the table and leave the room, no matter which level you are, including the chairman and MD of the company. Okay, role modeling. When they see a senior person do that, everybody else follows without fail, right? I believe HR needs to shift from policy reinforcement to behavior shaping. That is what we can do very effectively. For example, do we have green workplace practices? Many organizations, and I have also done that, green champions from different departments and areas who keep bringing this up. Do we have ethical sourcing behaviors, and are we rewarding those behaviors? Energy saving norms in the plants, right? I mean, we have even done negotiation with the union to say that, please don't impose how many days we have to run the plant. We will decide that. We will run it the way it is. We will make sure workmen are not impacted in any way on wages, but please allow us to run the plant in the most economical, efficient, eco-friendly manner. Okay, so I think some of these things, the way you reward and recognize behaviors, and how you are hiring people for your value alignment, how you're imparting this, whole knowledge at the time of entry of the employee into the company, in the onboarding. Like you say, you have to have, posh training done. Even ESG training has to be done at the very start. Okay, no use of plastic, use of paper, Don't print unless it's important. These are very, very important messages that we need to give to people as soon as they get into the system, because people come from different environments. And digital tools can actually help us to nudge. For example, I go and say that I want to print. It will say, do you really want to print? It's a great thing. Okay, yeah, maybe I shouldn't, that kind of a thing. So this kind of a digital, dashboard will give the team an understanding of how they are faring. And that, I think, is going to be very important from the HR point of view.
Thank you so much. And thanks for introducing green workplaces, green behaviors, and small habits. Very, very practical example that when I'm going to take prints, can I, pause and think for a second that is it essential or can I do away with? If once I'm using paper napkin, can I do away, with using paper napkin? Because how many trees are cut to manufacture that, So thank you so much for your insight and very practical. Now I would move back to Mr. Sahay, who was talking about indigenous, foundation of our ecological understanding and knowledge. Now, Mr. Sahay, what would it take to move dharma, karma, and ahimsa from moral philosophy into measurable ESG design, shaping entire incentives, decision making, horizons and accountability system? How can we embed this into the modern, matrix which Umaji was talking about, and have a very nice integration of our old ecological knowledge, and I would not say old as you mentioned about it, our very Indian ecological knowledge into modern day practices.
Like say, I will not just confine to this matrices, because that is one of the requirement. That's fine. Then the people will focus more on just tick box. What is important is that when we talk of dharma is what she was talking of, Umaji was talking about. Understood as a responsibility aligned with one's role. Is it visible in governance? Like say government decided that no plastic use, but still people are using plastic. In our Indian culture, everything was there. I would like to say this thing. I am youngest in the family, among brothers, fine? I never got a new book. My elder brother, then second brother, then third brother, then fourth brother. And that same book I was reading. Today, that is not happening. Cloth, same thing. क्लोथ का तो बड़ा टिपिकल एग्जाम्पल है कि बड़े भाई से आते आते मेरे पास आया और वो भी खत्म हो गया, तो उसका बैग बन गया और उसके बाद जो उसका पोछा बन गया. तो ये जो हम इसकी बात कर रहे हैं, like say Western world may be coining some unique word and we get hooked to that. We have to teach the whole world, but before that we must try to implement that thing. And previously I was telling that, okay, villages are more organized than city. All city you see this thing. We want that our house should be clean. And let the whole city be dirty. Indore is a classic example, a city which is so much dirty some 30-35 years back. Today, if you see this thing, it looks so clean. Because initially it's a government effort and then it becomes this public movement. Once every individual takes the responsibility, once every individual start taking pride in that, then it becomes very much important. It is very much possible to implement that. And if you see the initiatives taken as Digital India or say direct DBT or Aadhaar linked welfare delivery, there were a lot of hue and cry, but government said this thing that yes, it has to be done. When this Honorable Prime Minister talked of Digital India, there were a lot of debate inside and outside the parliament. Nobody could imagine that, okay, what type of transformation? So these are the dharmas, what we are doing this thing. And that got converted into karma. To ensure this thing, that there is no leakage, 100% benefit is transferred to the needy people. And that's why when we talk of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, that is possible. So we have to ingrain our Indian philosophy everywhere. We need not to copy anything from any side. All of us know about our Arthashastra. Finds modern expression is schemes like Jan Dhan Yojana, Ujjwala Yojana, Ayushman Bharat, PM Vishwakarma. All these things have been ingrained from has been taken from our Indian philosophy, Indian wisdom. So it's really important that when we talk of dharma and then converting that thing into karma and then emsa, that lifestyle, that we should have a clear policy that what of environmental initiatives we are taking. And if you see the scheme like lifestyle for environment, Swachh Bharat Mission, International Solar Alliance, plastic reduction, all these things are linked to that. And if I talk at IIM Jammu, these ideas are being reflected in institutional practice. And whole campus, if you're coming to our campus, you will see that how we have ensured this thing, that not even a single drop of water is wasted, not even resources are misused. But that has to be, a culture has to evolve. And we take pride in our Indian philosophy, ancient philosophy, and we are trying to do that. So this is what I would like to say, that when we talk of, it is important for all of us that if you really want to see that to achieve the major objective of Viksit Bharat by 2047, then we have to align our whole thinking. And not only thinking alignment, but we have to execute that thing. We have to believe in, like say, our karma. And whatever, and this analytical tools you talk of, or anything you talk of, there is a mindset now. Earlier, we were just doing this, back office type of activities. Today, we are leading the world. In AI, you will find a real transformation. I don't know how many of you attended this AI Impact Summit. I was there. And what Honorable Prime Minister said, what President of France talked about India, it is worth listening. We must take pride of what we have. And, like say, government institutions like IIM, societies, central universities. And if you try to see this National Education Policy 2020, combine everything. This combines the best global practices with the Indian intellectual tradition. So I would like to say that ESG education continue to rely on quantitative tools and like say other tools. This integration happens through structured electives. So to believe that, I would like to invite all of you, those who have not visited Jammu, please do come to Jammu and Kashmir, and you will feel a radical change. Radical change. So at IIM Jammu, this integration happens through structured electives, research, sustainability, ethical leadership. So many things are there. So let us try to align our whole energy in making Bharat Viksit, and that is possible when all of us focus on environment, sustainability. Let's focus that thing, social development. So these are required. So this is what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and very well said. And when I now reflect on the Government of India's framework of policy making, like Sarjan Hitay, Sarjan Sukhay, Swachh Bharat, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, the entire policy making is based on, Indian traditional philosophy. And there cannot be a bigger example than this for the corporation to embed ecological knowledge to our modern policy framework. So thank you so much, Mr. Sahay. Now, moving to Manvendra ji. Manvendra ji is, MD of group of hotels, and being in the hospitality industry, he understands and practices the philosophy of Atithi Devo Bhava. where a guest is treated with reverence. Now we would like to expand that philosophy beyond guest service to, other part of other resources, and would like to ask you, Mr. Singh, can you share an example where ancient Indian wisdom inspired you to implement ESG initiative in your hotel operations?
So, sir, I have built most of the little success that I have purely on the cultural and civilizational intelligence that already exists in every region. I have actually never filled a ESG checklist because I don't think that that framework, as Professor Saab very succinctly said, that many of the terms that have been coined by the West, organic, ESG, this subcontinent did not know any other way of life. मैं जैसलमेर में हूँ, जैसलमेर में 150 किलोमीटर की स्पीड से गर्मियों के अंदर हवा आती है। लोग अपने हाथों से उन्होंने एक किला बनाया है जो 900 साल से टिका हुआ है। उससे लोकल एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट हुआ, राजा का घर हो चाहे रंग का घर हो, एक पत्थर से बना हुआ है जैसलमेर के अंदर। उन्होंने जिस तरीके से बिल्डिंग्स बनाई हैं, those buildings, that architecture is climate policy, and they have been doing this for over a millennia. That architecture is climate policy. It is the most sophisticated water harvesting system that I have seen. The way that they are able to grow food is ingenious. In a land where nothing or very little grows, people are hospitable to a hilt and generous at the core. जब मेरे भाई की यहाँ पे शादी हुई, हम लोग उनके ससुराल पे गए, तो उनसे लोगों ने पूछा कि आपकी नाक कहाँ पर है, तो वो कंफ्यूज हो गए कि नाक कहाँ पे। उन्होंने बोला नाक यहाँ पे, सब हंसने लग गए। नाक, nose, which is a symbol of honor. When someone asks you कि आपकी नाक कहाँ पे, you have to point the well that your ancestors helped dig. So think about this, that the good that you do for society is conferred as social pedigree to you for many generations. So the incentive to do for good for the community is incredible. So to answer your question कि मैंने ESG के compliances, मैंने कभी ESG के compliance सोचता ही नहीं हूँ। मैं तो ये देखता हूँ कि हमारे इतिहास के अंदर जाकर उनकी लीफ से, उनकी नॉलेज से और उनकी सोच से प्रभावित होकर अगर मैं अपना एंटरप्राइज बना दूं, तो not only will it completely be not only compliant, it will go beyond that, but it's also financially profitable as an entrepreneur, I can say. And I think that this incredible opportunity that we have today, wherein we can truly for the first time coordinate and collaborate in a way that we have never been before. मैं संस्कृत यूनिवर्सिटी से किसी प्रोफेसर साहब से बात कर रहा था, उनके पास में सेक्रेड आर्किटेक्चर, सेक्रेड ज्योमेट्री का पूरा इतिहास पढ़ा हुआ है. Now imagine if we were to take everything that has survived for so many centuries and built on the foundation of that cultural intelligence, commercial enterprises. That is really what I have built my entire success on. So I don't see ESG, which is mostly regrettably seen as a checklist. I really see purpose being the foundation layer. और उसके ऊपर आप करते रहें तो ESG के compliance आप हो ही जाएगा आपका. And you do not have to do this because it is morally good or you have to fill a checklist. That is not how our ancestors thought. We are doing this because we do not know any other way of life. प्रोफेसर साहब ने अहिंसा की बात करी थी, which is you are trying to create a non-predatory world. तो आपके होने से अगर एनवायरनमेंट को नुकसान हो रहा है, सोसाइटी को नुकसान हो रहा है, तो वो एंटरप्राइज, वो इकोसिस्टम लंबे टाइम तक चल नहीं सकता. इसी बुनियाद पे ये सभ्यता बनी है और उसी के लीव से हम लोग वो कर रहे हैं. सो आई फील दैट ESG feels like is an outcome of a colonized mindset. हम लोगों को सब कुछ करें और उसके बाद में टोकनिज्म कुछ कर दें, दैट इज नॉट द आइडिया. हम लोगों की तो सभ्यता में सेल्फ सफिशिएंसी, sustainability or regeneration is in its DNA, not as a end goal that we are chasing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In fact, ये मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आपने बोला कि ESG पे सेपरेट फोकस करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है when it becomes a way of life.
Yes.
So, I reflect when corporations build transitions over a period of time. We have somewhere lost it, and now we are trying to revive, build frameworks, metrics, but this has to become way of life to become sustainable, which you are talking about, Mr. Singh.
So I would just like to say one more thing, that this is more true of this subcontinent than most other places, which is precisely why, so many big civilizations came to power and then they left power. But this civilization, because of its ability to integrate and assimilate, has gone on for so long. I want to just say that the framework that most indigenous communities from this part of the world have used, they consider the need of the ecology, the community, the individual, and finally the efficiency of its system. And अब के अगर आप देखें systems design, city design, वो एकदम reverse हो गया है. One focuses on efficiency, then the individuals who are taking decisions, then community, and then ecology is a afterthought, which is not the way हमारी सभ्यता का ये हिस्सा नहीं है. So we just try to suggest that nothing new, nothing innovative. It is just remembering who we were as opposed to chasing something that we are not at and hopefully never will be.
Thank you. Very true. So now coming back to Umaji, you as a CHRO, you've been building a future-ready workforce, and you have been very much part of building organizations. Now I would like to ask you, how can organizations embed principles of seva, service, and samayik drishti, balanced perspective, into their culture, so that sustainability becomes institutionalized rather than imposed?
Thank you, Vijay ji. Very contextual question, because words like seva, samayik drishti, vivek, ये इंग्लिश में है ही नहीं. इनका कोई पैरेलल नहीं है. Long back, a German professor teaching said that the word discernment is not vivek. तो ऐसे ये जो शब्द है और इनके पीछे जो thought है, I think that is not prevalent in English at all. So from that standpoint, if I were to look at how we can bring these concepts of seva and samayik drishti, seva, in other words, means service, right? So in the context of sustainability, what does it mean? Ki we play our dharma of being a human being by offering stewardship of the community. Okay, we will have to bring that out by being a steward of the community and the environment. We are like people who are the custodians of the community and environment on sustainability. And the way it plays out is typically when you see these volunteering programs being run by organizations, right? And these translate into everyday behavior. That is what is very important. So community engagement, customer-centric actions that we do. You build a plant in some place, okay? Can you please do something for the people who are around you? Make their life better. Provide them clean drinking water, maybe some housing support, school, etc. some peer support programs. Yeah, these are things which help in that dharma of seva they were saying. For example, we said there will be 2 days in a month which is going to be the green seva days. Every employee has the freedom to pick up the assignment of their choice, but please go and do something towards building green future. Okay, or you have some cross-functional team set up that will take up all these initiatives and see how we are doing community services. It's very important. What kind of stories are you telling in your employee communication town halls? Sustainability stories, or only one of making profit at the cost of everything? That also decides how we can actually bring that whole spirit of seva and pride in seva. Okay, the IBM has this ambassador program. They send people, they select a few people and send them to some part of the world to do seva. They have to stay in the community, work with them, and see how things work over there, right? So while organizations can focus on profit because that's why they exist, can we also do our manav dharma of sustainability and environment? Now, coming to Samayak Drishti, what does it mean actually? It means that balanced decision making. And that is something our culture is very renowned for. We never jump to make anything happen. Even if you see how the Guru Shishya Parampara works, the Guru imparts knowledge but in a very controlled manner. It's not that you jump at everything. There are so many stories where gods and Rajas will tell you, observe, don't do anything. So I think these are all very important for us to have Samayak Drishti. How can we make balanced decision? How can we make a decision that weighs environment and social impact, both? And actually have more dialogues happen, more brainstorming, more perspectives on the table so that all voices are heard and the right thing as far as Dharma is concerned is done. One example that I would like to put here. I was working in this chocolate making company. So the Diwali gift hamper had a diya in it, the light, the earthen light. Now it was looking very good, and they started doing the production of this. Halfway through, when many boxes were made, there was a casual visit by one of the officials to the place where they were doing this, and they found a young child doing it. The moment they saw that, they said, you know what, we are against child labor and we are not supposed to do this. Not supposed to do this. This is not dharma for us. So even though so many boxes were done, they were all abandoned, thrown away, and not a single piece was sold. Okay, if you want to do something genuinely, display with your behavior, not just with your words, and have the courage to take that call when things are not profitable, so to speak, but are actually honorable and ethical to do. I think this is something which is very, very important. So, provide people that comfort to make a decision which is for the company, for the business, but also uphold the principles of dharma and sustainability. I think this is very important. And you have to do it in every stage, hiring, stage when you're doing performance management. If you reward the wrong behaviors, then you will never be able to develop the right behaviors in the system. So I think the culture has to be shaped more because of commitment than compliance to some rules, regulations, etc. And then life can be good. Why should we should in a pharma company where I am? Why should we worry about a US FDA audit? Because we know we are doing everything right. We don't have to worry about the pollution board. We don't have to worry about anything. So I think once we bring it into our life, as Manvendra ji said, once you know you're doing the right thing, you don't need to track it according to that. Maybe you will far exceed the metrics. So that's what I would say. And from Sahay ji, it talked about dharma. I think we have to uphold our dharma.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your perspective. Now I would like to move to Mr. Sahay. And I remember one initiative of IIM Jammu, which I read somewhere, Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam. And I think there has been a mass tree plantation, initiated by AM Jammu. Similarly, Professor Sahay, can you please highlight the initiatives taken by AM Jammu in the area of climate preservation? What interdisciplinary frameworks or measurable models, institution like AM Jammu has been developing or helping develop to assess the long-term impact of integrating ancient sustainability principles into modern organization decision making?
थैंक यू। उमा जी ने अभी बहुत अच्छी बात कही, सेवा। सेवा आपको फिर मैं याद दिलाऊंगा कि लाल किले के प्राचीर से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सेवा के बारे में बहुत अच्छी तरह से बात करी कि जब आप सरकारी तंत्र में काम करते हैं तो यू आर नॉट जस्ट डूइंग योर ड्यूटी। अगर सेवा का भाव नहीं है तो आप सरकारी नौकरी में ना रहें। ये 8 घंटे का काम नहीं होता है। हर पल, हर क्षण, हर समय आप वेलफेयर ऑफ द सोसाइटी के बारे में सोचते हैं, अपने राष्ट्र के प्रति सोचते हैं कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं, कैसे कर रहे हैं, किस तरह से कर रहे हैं। जो भारत सरकार ने जितनी भी स्कीम्स बनाई हैं, पॉलिसीज बनाई हैं, वो लोगों तक पहुंच पा रही है। फिर मैं वहां से शुरू करूंगा। जब हम बात करते हैं, व्हेन वी टॉक ऑफ विकसित भारत टू सक्सीड, तो जितनी भी पॉलिसी हैं उसको मेजरेबल टर्म्स में होना चाहिए। एक पहले के बहुत बड़े पहले के प्राइम मिनिस्टर कहते थे कि 85% जो लीकेज हो जाती है, 15% जो है नीडी लोगों के पास पहुंच पाता है। इस प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन डिकेड्स तक नहीं मिल पाया, जबकि हम आईटी के फील्ड में काफी अच्छा कर सकते थे और कर रहे थे। India could have been a leader in 1980 itself when IT movement started. But probably we never believed in transparency, we never believed in systems, we never believed in translating anything into measurable terms. Keep making promises, and if you see the promises, that was much more than the annual budget. So coming back, that any policy, if we talk of, it has to be evidence-based. Moral inspiration must translate into measurable outcomes. Ancient principles can be optimized into structured tools that assess long-term impact. और इस वजह से आपने देखा होगा कि भारत सरकार की जितनी भी वेबसाइट है, सबों पे आजकल डेटा डैशबोर्ड है, परफॉर्मेंस मैट्रिक्स है, डिजिटल मॉनिटरिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, आउटकम बेस्ड बजटिंग है। जो प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते हैं कि जिसका हम नींव डाल रहे हैं उसका उद्घाटन भी हम करेंगे। व्हाट दैट मीन? इट नॉट ए सिंपल स्टेटमेंट। देयर वर प्रोजेक्ट्स वर लाइंग पेंडिंग फॉर डिकेड्स टुगेदर। उसको इंप्लीमेंट किया। दैट वाज पॉसिबल बिकॉज हमने ये प्रण ले लिया कि भाई जिस चीज को हम इनॉग्रेट कर रहे हैं, अब मैं बताऊं कि जितने भी नए इंस्टीट्यूशन अभी आ रहे हैं, इन सबों का टाइमलाइन है। वी क्रिएटेड सच ए बिग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर विद इन स्टिपुलेटेड टाइम। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आउटकम बेस्ड बजटिंग को कैसे हम करें, किस तरह से करें, फ्रॉम एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोग्राम डैशबोर्ड टू रियल टाइम डिजिटल गवर्नेंस ट्रैकिंग। तो ये सारी चीजें बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है। अब जब आप बात करते हैं कि आईएम में हम क्या कर रहे हैं भाई, तो दिस रियली वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज यू नो लाइक से व्हेन वी टॉक ऑफ इन्वायरमेंट क्लीन रखना है तो पहले तो पूरा डिजाइन ही उस तरह का होना चाहिए। इंसिडेंटली जब हम क्लाइमेट की बात करते हैं तो आप सब लोग, फिर मैं कहूँगा जम्मू आइए, यहाँ पे ये AQI जो है नॉर्मल से भी कम है। अनलाइक any metros where you find it is varying anything from 200 to 400 or at times it is more than that. But when you're coming here, I can assure you that I am a campus, it is below this. At times it is 50, 60, something like that. तो ये जो धर्म की बात करते हैं, इसमें सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि ट्रांसपेरेंसी, उसमें हम बिलीव करते हैं कि नहीं। सिस्टम्स, प्रोसेसेस, स्टेक होल्डर्स participation, grievance redressal, ethical consistency in decision making. This is one thing I believe wherever I've gone, I've headed 4 institutions, I made sure that things are transparent, systems and processes are in place. There should be stakeholder participation, and whatever decisions we make, that has to be consistent. It cannot be that you show me the person, I will show you the rule. And that brings institutional trust among all the stakeholders. It can be piloted within the institute and later extended to partner organizations. And this is what is the emphasis of government. Second thing is that, like say, long-term impact evaluation framework, karma model, inspired by the principle that actions produce consequences. हम हमेशा कहते हैं भाई काम करो, फल की चिंता मत करो. This model can measure how ESG-aligned decision influences risk reduction, employee retention, stakeholder trust, community outcome, everything put together. Third thing I would like to say that, like say this, initially in the beginning of my talk, I said that पंच तत्व जो आपने भी उसका जिक्र किया, उस पंच तत्व में हर एक तत्व को लें और टोटल कंजम्पशन हमारा एनर्जी का कितना होता है, एंड विद इन ए गिवन टाइम लिमिट, टाइम फ्रेम, हम एनर्जी को कैसे पर पर्सन कितना कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं, ये ज्यादा हो रहा है, कम हो रहा है, और अगर ज्यादा हो रहा है या कम हो रहा है, साथ ही साथ हम क्या अल्टरनेट रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी को यूज कर पा रहे हैं. All government institutions have been told that we must have this solarization of the campus. Though we are having 100% backup, power backup, but we would like to avoid using that thing. Instead of that, we'll try to have, and we have this solarized campus. So it's important. Second is that water. मैं अभी कहीं पे इंटरनेशनल एक्रेडिटेशन टीम के साथ था पीयर रिव्यू में, तो मैंने वहीं पे देखा कि लोग प्लास्टिक में बॉटल में पानी पीते हैं. किसी ने 20% कंज्यूम किया, किसी ने 30% कंज्यूम किया, किसी ने 100%, जो भी किया. उन सबों से हमने रिक्वेस्ट किया कि इफ यू आर ओपनिंग द बॉटल, प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट इट इज कंप्लीट, डोंट वेस्ट वाटर, इट्स रियली इंपॉर्टेंट. एक एनर्जी की बात कर रहे हैं, दूसरा वाटर इफिशियंसी की बात कर रहे हैं, तीसरा जो है वेस्टेज सेग्रीगेशन का, एंड दैट वी कीप डूइंग. वी हैव सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम. तो वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट को हम कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं? आपको मैं बताऊं कि होटल में हम लोग जाते हैं, सब लोग जाते हैं, और हर बार हम चाहते हैं कि हर मॉर्निंग में मुझे जब हम आए तो नई टॉवेल, नए हैंड टॉवेल्स, सब कुछ फ्रेश हो. होटल वालों ने शुरू किया कि भाई देख लो कि अगर आपको जरूरत है तभी हम बदलेंगे, नहीं तो नहीं बदलेंगे, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सेम थिंग हियर, दैट द फूड वेस्टेज. बच्चों से हमने रिक्वेस्ट किया कि डोंट वेस्ट फूड बिकॉज समबडी इज डाइंग फॉर द सेम फूड एंड हियर यू आर वेस्टिंग. तो फूड वेस्टेज को अगर पूरे भारतवर्ष में एक संस्था में और फिर पूरे जगह अगर कंट्रोल कर लिया जाए तो इट विल रियली हेल्प टू मीट द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ फूड स्कैर्सिटी. फिर आप जानते हैं गवर्नमेंट में इतनी सारी प्रोक्योरमेंट होती है. गवर्नमेंट ने इतना बढ़िया सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप किया कि पहले टाइम यूज्ड टू टेक लॉट ऑफ टाइम. तो उसमें जो है प्रोक्योरमेंट एथिक्स को हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, बायोडाइवर्सिटी के प्रति हम कितने सेंसिटिव हैं. तो ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और ये सारे मेजरेबल हैं. इट इज़ नॉट मेजरेबल. तो मुझे लगता है कि अगर हम सभी लोग जो हैं इस चीज़ को सोचिए, और दिस इज द स्टोरी ऑफ वन इंस्टीट्यूशन, इफ इट इज मल्टीप्लाइड टू अदर इंस्टीट्यूशंस, इफ इट इज मल्टीप्लाइड टू द होल सोसाइटी, व्हाट विल द टोटल आउटकम. तो मुझे लगता है कि जब अब सेल्फ अवेयरनेस होती है तो ये चीज़ें अपने आप होना शुरू हो जाएगा. तो जहाँ पे हम कलेक्टिव वेलफेयर की बात करेंगे और जितने भी मैट्रिसेस हैं इसके अराउंड डेवलप की हुई हैं, इट विल रियली हेल्प. और हम लोग इस पर काफ़ी काम कर रहे हैं. आई वुड नॉट लाइक टू टेक मच टाइम. But I would like to just complete here, wind up here, saying this thing, that it is very much possible. And given its location in Jammu and Kashmir, jahan pe ki, like say, all of you are aware of that, what is happening. But I feel so happy to tell you that after 5th August 2019, जब से आर्टिकल 370 एब्रोगेट हुआ और जब से आर्टिकल 35 एब्रोगेट हुआ, ग्रोथ इतनी फास्ट हो रही है, अनबिलीवेबल. And Jammu is the only place where 3 Institute of National Importance is located. और इसमें जो है डेवलपमेंट एंड सोशल ट्रस्ट को एक साथ मिलाकर सब लोग काम कर रहे हैं. तो मुझे लगता है कि अभी हम लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है. About employment generation, entrepreneurship, how entrepreneurship can be linked to the employment generation, and that is probably going to be the role model for the rest of the country. But the best part is that IIM Jammu, along with the Department of Skill Development, developed this model, that entrepreneur-led employment. और उसमें काफी बहुत बड़ी प्रोजेक्ट है. If time permits, then I will talk about that. But this is what I feel is that it is very much possible that and Jammu can contribute meaningfully and contributing in a very humble way to see this thing that भारतवर्ष का विकास हो और विकसित भारत बने. धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much. And I think IIM Jammu has taken a lot of initiatives, which is an example for all of us. And when Government of India is talking about phasing out fossil fuel by 2035, and there is a talk being investment to the tune of $68 billion to do this energy transition. I think IIM Jammu has solarized the campus is a big example before all of us. And thank you for highlighting that and importance of water, waste management. And we say that the next war, importance of water is going to be huge. And we have seen recently how during Sindoor operations, water has played a very important role. China has been doing the same. So I think water is extremely important. And thank you so much for highlighting this. A lot of industries have started using solid waste into their, kilns, cement industry mostly, because they are finding a lot of economic value apart from, reducing the carbon footprint. So thank you so much. Now moving on to Manvendra ji. There has been a lot of talk about eco-tourism in the hotel industry, hospitality industry, which sits at a very delicate intersection. On one hand, it has the potential to generate livelihoods, attract investment, and revive local economics. On the other hand, it involves fragile ecosystems, living traditions, and cultural identities that cannot be, utilized or exploited recklessly. Right? Often, increased footfall brings revenue, but it also brings environmental stress, commodification of culture, and pressure on local communities. So my question is to you, Mr. Manvendra Singh, how do you balance commercial viability with cultural responsibility when promoting eco-heritage tourism while ensuring that environmental protection remains non-negotiable?
Sir, I think that the answer is in your question itself. If we degrade the very landscape that guests are coming for, if we trivialize or commodify the very culture that they are coming to experience, then we are eroding long-term value 100%. And I think that the only way to balance this is to promote examples of enterprises and initiatives and endeavors who have built their success on non-commodification of culture, who have used culture, in fact, as the antidote to commodification. And second is like by instituting really strong policies. And regrettably, that is something that I have a challenge with in the way that we approach tourism in general, and especially in the country, that हम लोग हर किसी के लिए हर कुछ बनना चाहते हैं, तो किसी के लिए कुछ भी नहीं बन पाते हैं. And there are certain things which are absolutely sacrosanct. Ecosystem level पे जब किसी जगह का डेवलपमेंट सोचा जाता है, तो वहां पर बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज कंपीटिंग एक्टिविटीज होती हैं. एंड आई थिंक दैट द मास्टर प्लान लेवल पे एक होलिस्टिक 50 साल का 100 साल का जो प्लान होता है, वो मेरे हिसाब से अभी उतनी बारीकी से नहीं बनता है जिस बारीकी से बनना चाहिए, जो उस कंसिडरेशन से नहीं बनता है जिस कंसिडरेशन से बनना चाहिए. सो आई एम सेइंग हम लोगों की सभ्यता जो बोलती है that do everything that considers the need of the ecology, the community, that in itself is the answer. What we attempt to do is that we then start planning for its efficiency and we put a higher order to that. We put हमारे पास में font size efficiency का और immediate short termism से commercial viability का जो वो goal है, वो precede कर जाता है long term environmental and cultural sensitivity के goal से, and that is where one sees problems with over tourism and stuff. So here are my 3 absolute tangible recommendations as someone who's part of the hospitality industry, as someone who's benefited from a region's culture and its environment. I think that the first narrative, if it is encoded in our planning principles, is that if the development is coming at the cost of a region's environment and identity, then it is not development at all, according to me. एंड बहुत बार ये एक सेल्फ फुलफिलिंग प्रोफेसी हो जाती है कि नहीं जी, डेवलपमेंट अगर करना है तो मतलब पेड़ तो काटने पड़ेंगे, और डेवलपमेंट अगर करना है तो ये मांगनियार जो हमारे हैं उनको मतलब गाना ही पड़ेगा, जैसे जू के अंदर लोग देखते हैं वैसे. पर मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि वो नहीं करने की जरूरत है. योगा इज बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्री, आयुर्वेदा इज बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्री and can become billions of dollars of industry. The way that we think about philosophy, the way that we think about spirituality, the way that we think about architecture, food, bhasha, bhes, bhojan, bhavan और bhajan, हर जगह के they can create incredible frameworks of what development can be and should be, and that जितना हम लोग उसको रखेंगे प्रेम से, उतनी ही हम लोगों की commercial viability बनेगी. तो मेरा तो पूरा argument ये है कि that culture and commerce there is no tension. In fact, the best commerce can be born out of deep culture, on the foundations of deep culture. And that's at least what we are attempting. So the number one recommendation is that if development is coming at the cost of an environment or identity, which means that we are not thinking enough and we don't need to get caught in that binary, and we can expand our imagination to go beyond that binary. So that's number one recommendation. Number 2 recommendation, sir, is that every region has a certain, जिसको बोलते हैं फ्रांस में je ne sais quoi, the reason why a place exists, the reason that brings soul to a place, those need to be protected by policy, and there is no debate on that. There are enough models of creating economic sufficiency, but ये जब तक हम लोग, वो पॉलिसी जब तक नहीं बनेगी जब तक हम लोग जाने नहीं एट द हाईएस्ट लेवल की इस रीजन की मतलब बुनियाद क्या है, जैसलमेर के अंदर लोग यहाँ की लोकल प्रजातियां खत्म करके वो क्रॉप्स उगा रहे हैं जो यहाँ पर उगनी ही नहीं चाहिए, और क्योंकि वो उगनी नहीं चाहिए इस वजह से उसमें इंसेक्टिसाइड भी डल रहा है, पेस्टिसाइड भी डल रहा है, वाटर कंजम्पशन भी ज्यादा हो रहा है, और इस वजह से हम लोग वो नहीं उगा रहे जो यहाँ पे होनी चाहिए, और क्योंकि हम लोग खुद उसको वैल्यू नहीं करते इसलिए दुनिया भी उसको वैल्यू नहीं करती है. So there is an incredible opportunity of going very specific in the region and really understanding what are the most incredible facets, they may be unknown, of this region that need to be protected, and anyone who tries to destroy them, one must by policy institute the fear of God in them, so that is protected, because उसी के बुनियाद पे ही culture बनेगा. You cannot have a discussion on कि कुछ लोग कल्चर बचाएं जबकि बाकी सारी फोर्सेस सिस्टमिकली इंस्टीट्यूशनली उसको खत्म करने में लगी हुई हैं. सो दैट्स द सेकंड थिंग. हम लोग बोलते हैं धरोहर बचानी चाहिए, लेकिन धरोहर बचती है प्रॉफिट और पॉलिसी से. धरोहर और वो जब सारे के सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस काम करें. सो दैट्स द सेकंड पॉइंट. एंड सो परहैप्स माय लास्ट रिकमेंडेशन इज बोरोइंग फ्रॉम Professor Sahay's thing, that there should be systemic cleaning at an education level, that anything that is based on the premise of a colonized mindset, till that is off, हम लोगों की जो aspiration of the kind of society want to build will be flawed. हम लोग यहाँ पर बिल्डिंग्स जैसलमेर में जैसलमेर जैसी बननी चाहिए, तो जैसलमेर में जैसी बनेंगी तो जैसलमेर पत्थर होगा, तो उस बिल्डिंग से ना कि वो यहाँ के क्लाइमेट के लिए सबसे सही है, ना कि यहाँ के कल्चर के लिए सबसे ज्यादा सूटेड है, लेकिन इकोनॉमिकली भी वो सबसे ज्यादा बेनिफिशियल है. लेकिन हम लोग यहाँ पर अगर ग्लास और स्टील और सीमेंट की इमारतें बनाएंगे बस यही सोच के कि बस यही तरीका है प्रिडोमिनेंट, तो फिर then we are fighting a losing battle.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we have paucity of time and we would like to
my apologies.
Move fast. So I think taking cue from your point, Manvendra ji, I think you have been highlighting and all the panelists have been highlighting the importance of culture, and you said that best commerce can emerge from a deep culture. Now coming to Umaji, who is responsible for, who plays a very instrumental role as a CHRO to build that culture. Tell me quickly, what is the CHRO's role in driving that transformation, building that culture? How would you ensure that training is institutionalized? Each employee starts living that behavior. How do you make that, sustainable culture? What will be your role?
Thank you, sir. So, isme, I think couple of things. First of all, I think we have to start looking at inner sustainability versus outer sustainability, right? As a person who has the responsibility of shaping workplace cultures and behaviors along with other leaders, how are we bringing that inner sustainability out? Reduced consumption mindset. How can we cultivate that reduced consumption mindset? Okay. How do we look at utilizing resources very consciously? Do we need it or not need it, right? Ethical decision making. When you're doing something, making a decision, is it going to harm anybody? If it is not, go ahead. But if it is, you have a moral responsibility not to do that. How do we cultivate, and that's been a prime obsession for some years now, how do we have this lower waste behaviors? Not throwing things around, consuming madly, and making a waste of everything without accountability, right? So that's very important. Second thing is, we have this great Indian wisdom. Everybody talked about it. Sabne baat kiya iske bare mein. I think from the early stages of leadership development, right from onboarding, we have to ingrain some principles into people. एक है वो माइंडफुलनेस, ध्यान जो हम कहते हैं, माइंडफुलनेस. आप माइंडफुलनेस से रहेंगे तो यू विल कंज्यूम रिस्पॉन्सिबली, you will spend responsibly, you will source responsibly. Yeah, everything goes in that way. So you will be focused and you will do what is right. The other thing is, being in private sector, we of course know profit making is very important and stuff like that. But how can we lead people towards minimalism and non-possessiveness? Okay, everything has to be with me. Remove that mindset. And in our wisdom, aparigraha, as we say, right? Do not indulge in possessions. This is not going to do it. Everything has to come to me. This also, that also. Can we become more equitable in our mindset and share what we have and don't try to take and amass everything with us? The other one is santulan, balance in decision making. I spoke about it earlier. Please weigh all possibilities. Please weigh all hazards and then only take a decision. If you are being unfair to even one constituency, that decision is not a good decision. Very debatable topic for industrialists, because as Manvendra was saying, people will go into certain places and try to clear all the trees and everything over there for industrialization, but what cost? Are you making a conscious decision so that you're not spoiling the ecology? That's important. Again, on the same principle, are we following the principle of not harming anybody? Ahimsa, that we have already talked about. If we can include these principles in our leadership development, then I think it is ideal. In fact, in every leadership development that program that we did, for example, in a few companies like Ashok Leyland, one part of the program was social awareness and social contribution. This was a compulsory part of the program where people will go, either help people set up some micro businesses or teach them how to manage it or work on a green cover and things like that. So everything is not profit. You need to do it with a conscious mind. So inclusive, compassionate workplaces cannot happen by magic. You have to make things happen like this, where people are exposed to certain areas. In TCS, for example, they have tied up with Anath Alay. And so many employees of TCS go and celebrate all their key events with the children over there. Just imagine what joy they bring to the children and what peace you get when you do something like this. But it's not one, you have to pick up several of them. So, simple things. We all hear about Azim Premji. वो जाते जाते switch off करके जाते हैं पंखा और light का. This is demonstration from the top. Okay, commuting. Can we carpool instead of everyone going in their own vehicle? So I think these are things that will help you also to have a better well-being and
Thank you.
also communicate.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very, very practical. Now, since we have paucity of time and we have, a lot of audiences looking forward to ask questions from the panelists, I would now close the panel discussion here and would now invite all the participants, whosoever is willing to ask question from the panelists. I reduce it from 20 minutes to maybe 14 to 15 minutes, and then we can close this. So now over to participants, and Mohiji and Mohsinji to please help.
Sure. So if you allow me, then I can begin with the first one. First is thanking you, Vijayji, and Umaji, Sahay Saab, and Manvendra for such a meaningful and discussion and perspectives from very different backgrounds. Sahay Saab mentioned about गांव ज्यादा व्यवस्थित हैं और शहरों में है कि मैं अपना हिस्सा साफ कर लूं, दूसरा जो है वो गंदा पड़ा रहे. Right? Manvendra spoke about the civilization wisdom, and we don't need to do anything else about it. And Umaji brought in the very powerful point that all this begins with the inner sustainability, the inner work, the self-work. My question to the panel is that this is what we are doing in India, and we are as a civilization better suited to carry on the ESG agenda, sustainability, Sarjan Hitay, Sarjan Sukhay. But what we are seeing in the world as of now, मेरा हिस्सा साफ रहे, दूसरे का हिस्सा गंदा हो जाए, राइट? मैं दूसरे का हिस्सा भी हड़प लूं, right? The power play, the egos, going all over, for the sake of power. We don't mind, or for the sake of promoting the weapon industry, we don't mind killing people in different countries all over, and we don't realize that what can be the implication of that, right? For the mankind, for the future of the mankind. So it's not something which we can just discuss somewhere. It is becoming so and so urgent as a kind of a survival issue for the mankind actually. So what is the panel's thought that how do we what will be our role beyond creating the sensation about ESG, conscious wisdom, inner work, inner stability, civilization wisdom? This is becoming so and so urgent across the world, actually. So over to you, anybody in the panel.
Mohit, I just had one thought here. I think people like who are in this panel and in United Consciousness larger forum, I think should play a very important role in policy making and influencing the government bodies to bring out those kind of assessments and checklists that will help us to maintain sustainability when they go ahead with big projects and things like that. This is going to be very important. You know, we all often say women don't get into sales roles. One of the things we did at that time was to make a representation to the government that when you are approving the roads, Gadkari ji, when you're approving these large roads and projects, please can you ensure every 20 kilometers you have a toilet available for a woman to use so that she can travel comfortably and come back. I think there is a lot of merit in using this group and groups like this as pressure groups to ensure the right checklists are done to manage this.
Thank you. Anyone from the audience?
No, yeah, I would like to supplement, this thing. I believe that self-awareness is very much important. Every individual should understand his or her responsibility. ये रेट्रिक होके नहीं रह जाए और वो इंडिविजुअल से स्टार्ट होता है और अगर हर इंडिविजुअल अगर कॉन्शियस हो जाए तो अपने आप चीज़ें इंप्रूव होना शुरू होगा। अब जैसे मान लीजिए कि क्यों AQI दिल्ली में सबसे ज़्यादा है, उसके लिए कौन कौन से स्टेट्स रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं? तो व्हेन let's say nobody is concerned about the public, nobody is concerned about welfare of the people, they are concerned about themselves, and that is really unfortunate. We know this thing, पराली जलाना गलत है, उससे काफी पोल्यूशन होता है, व्हीकल से पोल्यूशन जनरेट हो रहा है, कंस्ट्रक्शन से पोल्यूशन जनरेट हो रहा है। इसको कैसे कम करें, कैसे मिनिमाइज करें? क्या लाइसेंस, जो भी व्हीकल्स हैं, चाहे वो किसी भी एनर्जी को यूज करते हैं, किसी भी तरह की एनर्जी को यूज करते हैं, what's the policy for that? Like say Singapore, like say you can't have any extra vehicle on the road because they have decided that these many numbers of vehicles should be on the road. Clearly net का definition क्या है हमारा? So I think all of us have to be, and again I give you this thing, the अगर इंदौर, सूरत और भोपाल, अगर वहां पे सफाई का स्टैंडर्ड बढ़ सकता है तो पूरे हिंदुस्तान में क्यों नहीं बढ़ेगा? क्यों नहीं बढ़ेगा? सो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इंडिविजुअल कॉन्शियसनेस, और शुरू में गवर्नमेंट को काफी इनिशिएटिव लेना पड़ता है, एंड इट शुड बी, गवर्नमेंट इज टेकिंग लॉट ऑफ इनिशिएटिव, लेकिन जस्ट ब्लेमिंग द गवर्नमेंट और एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट द गवर्नमेंट विल डू एवरीथिंग, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. It is our responsibility, it is citizens' responsibility to make sure this thing, that all of us are conscious about this. अब मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. जापान में स्कूल में बच्चे हर फ्राइडे को पूरी सफाई करते हैं, क्लासरूम, कॉमन प्लेसेस, टॉयलेट्स. इंडस्ट्री में बहुत जगह फ्राइडे आफ्टरनून को सफाई करते हैं और फिर डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स को हर मंडे को फोटोग्राफ्स लगाते हैं और बताते हैं विच डिपार्टमेंट इज वेरी गुड और विच डिवीजन इज वेरी गुड। लेकिन इस तरह के हमें वेस्टर्न मॉडल को कॉपी करके हमने अपनी पूरी शिक्षा पद्धति को जो है इतने सालों में गड़बड़ कर दिया। आप बच्चे को डांट नहीं सकते, बच्चों से सफाई कराएंगे तो नेक्स्ट डे जो है वो पूरे जो है सोशल मीडिया में छा जाएगा कि बच्चों से जो है उन्होंने सफाई करवा लिया। दैट वाज पार्ट ऑफ लर्निंग। उस लर्निंग को हम कहीं पीछे छोड़ते जा रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि जब तक कि, और ये चीजें बचपन से होना चाहिए, इट इज नॉट मैटर ऑफ राइट कि उनको सब कुछ साफ मिलना चाहिए, नो, दे हैव टू क्लीन इट। और वो जो है घर से आता है, परिवार से आता है, बच्चों को हम क्या संस्कार दे रहे हैं उससे आता है। आप जिस तरह की इंसिडेंट्स और जिस तरह की वारदात हिंदुस्तान में हो रही हैं, जिस तरह की क्रिमिनल चीजें हो रही हैं, दैट्स रियली अनफॉर्चुनेट, अनबिलीवेबल। तो मुझे लगता है कि पहले अपने संस्कार को हम बनाएं, संस्कार बच्चों में दें, और उसके लिए नो बडी इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल, फर्स्ट इज पेरेंट्स, दे आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल एंड देन कम सोसाइटी। अगर हम अच्छा करेंगे तो हमारी सोच पॉजिटिव होगी। So what type of energy we are giving to other person, what type of energy we are giving to the society, that's really important. And if you are able to do that thing, probably it will really help in achieving whatever goals we set. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone from the audience?
सर एक क्वेश्चन चैट बॉक्स में भी है मानवेंद्र जी के लिए।
ये रजनी प्रधान जी हैं,
हाँ,
इन्होंने
डॉक्टर रजनी।
हाथ ऊपर रखा हुआ है।
नहीं, मैम पूछना चाहता हूँ।
सामने है, हाथ उनका पंजा दिख रहा है बिल्कुल, तो उनको दावत दो।
आप उनको अनम्यूट कर दें प्लीज।
ये अनम्यूट क्यों, सबको अनम्यूट कर दो यार, यही तो कंट्रोल मैकेनिज्म को खत्म करो। पहले तो आपने स्पीकर को म्यूट कर रखा था। सबों को, जब तक सोसाइटी में ओपननेस नहीं आएगा,
मेरे
सर
ख्याल
आप
से
म्यूट हो गए।
नमस्ते 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 एवरीबॉडी।
दे मस्ट हैव थॉट ऑफ कि ज्यादा बोल रहे हैं, इनको म्यूट कर दो। इट हैज टू बी ओपन सोसाइटी, लेट मी टेल यू दैट।
Okay, first of all, I apologize for not knowing a few things about this program, and also I joined a little late, but I joined where Dr. Sahay ji was talking about bhasha, कि जब किसी भी सभा में अगर हिंदी जानने वाले लोग हैं तो फिर इंग्लिश की क्या जरूरत है। Anyways, so what I get from this poster, ancient wisdom and ESG. I apologize that I do not know ESG. लेकिन ancient wisdom का जो बात है, somebody also talked about the पंच महाभूत क्षितिजल पावक गगन समीरा पंच रचित अधि अधम शरीरा, है ना। तो पंच, ये पंच तत्व ही हमें बनाते हैं और यही हमें मिटा भी सकते हैं। तो वी हैव टू, अच्छा, एंशिएंट विजडम, आई नो दैट देयर इज नो टाइम नाउ, तो केवल एक ही बात मुझे बोलनी है और वो है एंशिएंट विजडम। विजडम चाहे एंशिएंट हो, चाहे नई हो, पुरानी हो या कभी की भी हो, देयर इज ओनली वन थिंग टू इट, और वो है वी आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स। और हमने जन्म क्यों लिया है? हाँ, ये जो मनुष्य का शरीर है, मनुष्य का जन्म है, अति दुर्लभतम है, और उसका केवल एक ही लक्ष्य है, वो है मोक्ष, मुक्ति, लिबरेशन। इस जो कुछ भी हम करते हैं उसको हमें केवल एक ही चश्मे से, एक ही लेंस से देखना है। Is it taking me to my goal or is it taking me away from my goal? इसी, चाहे उसको हम AI के ऊपर काफी डिस्कशन हुआ और जो कुछ भी चल रहा है, हमें केवल एक ही चीज देखनी चाहिए कि मैं जिसके लिए पैदा हुआ हूं, जिसके लिए मैंने इसके लिए जन्म नहीं लिया है कि मैं सारा जीवन केवल परिवार का भरण पोषण करता रहूं और पता चले कि मेरे पाप में तो भागीदार नहीं है, लेकिन मेरी कमाई में भागीदार सब है। आप जाके घर वालों से वही किस्सा है जो वर्ल्ड सभी जानते हैं कि जब हम पूछते हैं कि क्या मेरे पाप के भी आप भागीदार हैं, कोई नहीं है। और इस संसार में हमारा कोई भी नहीं है, सब है। हम उनके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं उसके लिए सबको होना चाहिए। I must perform all my duties to the best of my capacities and my capabilities, but at the same time I have to remember मैंने जन्म किसके लिए लिया है। मैंने यानी प्रत्येक मनुष्य ने, मनुष्य का जन्म ही इसीलिए मिला है बिकॉज वी आर रेडी फॉर मोक्ष। अगर रेडी फॉर मोक्ष नहीं होते तो हम भी कीट पतंगा कुकर सूकर कुछ ना कुछ बने हुए इधर उधर डोल रहे होते, है ना। तो हमने जो मनुष्य का जीवन पाया है उसमें सबसे पहले यही देखें क्या मैं वो कर रहा हूं और कितने लोगों तक मैं इस संदेश को पहुंचा सकता हूं। सबसे पहला वो होगा मेरा हस्बैंड, मेरी वाइफ, मेरा बेटा, मेरा भाई, मेरा पड़ोसी, मेरा जानकार, मेरा रिश्तेदार। वो लोग नहीं सुनेंगे दिया तले अंधेरा, वो लोग नहीं सुनेंगे, नहीं सुनेंगे, वन मोर टाइम नहीं सुनेंगे। तो जो भी सुनेगा उसको सुनाए, और जो अपात्र है उसको भी ये नहीं सुनाना चाहिए। एक बार बता के छुट्टी, मान लिया तो मान ले, नहीं माना तो नहीं माना। एनीवे, सो आई डू नॉट नो हाउ मच टाइम आई शुड टेक, बट आई वांटेड टू से ओनली वन वर्ड कि हमने ये जन्म लिया है मोक्ष पाने के लिए। एंशिएंट विजडम भी यही है, कल भी यही थी, आज भी यही है। और इसी बात को ध्यान रखते हुए हमारा हर कदम, इज इट टेकिंग मी टुवर्ड्स ईश्वरा और टेकिंग मी अवे फ्रॉम ईश्वरा, केवल इसी एक बात को ध्यान रखेंगे। ये घंटी हमें अपने सर पे लटका लेनी चाहिए, आते जाते टन टन बजाते रहना चाहिए, मैं ईश्वर की ओर जा रहा हूं या ईश्वर से दूर जा रहा हूं। वो जब तक वो नहीं है तब तक बाकी क्या क्या करेंगे हम, क्या हम सभी लोग हम देखते हैं वी आर ऑल, मानवेंद्र जी को छोड़ के हम सभी आई थिंक वेल अबव 40, अबव 40 नहीं तो अबव 50 के आसपास भी, आई एम अबव 50। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि केवल जवानी है। तो वो एक भजन है ना, भजन कर मस्त जवानी में बुढ़ापा किसने देखा है। जवानी में अगर भजन की आदत नहीं डाली, बुढ़ापे में कभी भजन नहीं होगा। स्वामी प्रेमानंद जी बोलते हैं वो भजन का आडंबर होगा, भजन नहीं होगा, दिखावा करेंगे। हमने एक 90 साल के पुरुष को वासना से ग्रसित होकर इतनी गंदी हरकत करते हुए देखा है। इट इज बुढ़ापे में भजन नहीं होता है, कभी नहीं होता है, जवानी से ही भजन की शुरुआत करनी पड़ती है। एंड दिस इज द ओनली थिंग आई वांटेड टू से। नमस्ते। अरे हाँ, एक चीज और सहाय जी से, आपने कहा जम्मू आइए, आई एम इंटरेस्टेड, आई एम अ प्रोफेसर ऑफ योग शास्त्र एंड आई एम ऑल्सो अ PhD गाइड एट कवि कुलगुरु।
आप अपना नंबर भेज दो मैडम।
जी मैं
आपको
भेजती हूँ
बहुत
आपको।
बढ़िया लगा। ये तो मैं तो बताऊं आपको कि इसमें आपको बोलने का था। हम तो पक्का सप्लाई चेन और ऑपरेशंस के आदमी हैं, टेक्निकल आदमी हैं, 0 और 1 इन बिटवीन में तो आप लोग आते हो।
हमको कुछ नहीं आता है सहाय साहब, हमको
हाँ,
केवल एक चीज आता है।
आप आइए, आप सादर
नहीं
आमंत्रित
तो
हैं। और मैं, हमारे यहाँ हैं प्रोफेसर श्याम नारायण लाल जी,
हमारा
वो
जो
हमारे
पैनल
केंद्र
डिस्कशन
है।
का सीरीज जो है
आनंदम,
तो
आनंदम
कि आपका नंबर मिल जाएगा। तो हमारे पैनल डिस्कशन का जो सीरीज है
जी,
ये हम
हाँ।
करते रहते हैं और हम चाहेंगे कि आप हमारे पैनल में आए और हम सब आपसे लाभान्वित हों। और
जरूर।
आपने जो मोक्ष का अभी हम सबके सामने रखा कि हमारा जीवन का उद्देश्य है मोक्ष प्राप्ति करना, तो बहुत ही बढ़िया। और आपने पूरे पैनल डिस्कशन का सार यहाँ पे रख दिया। तो चूंकि समय का अभाव है तो मैं चाहूंगा कि कुछ और पार्टिसिपेंट हैं उनको कुछ पूछना है तो 1 या 2 क्वेश्चन और हम लोग ले सकते हैं। ऑलरेडी हम लोग 10 मिनट्स एक्सीड कर चुके हैं, तो मैं चाहूंगा कि एक क्वेश्चन लेकर इसको हम फिर
यहाँ पे एक क्वेश्चन है मानवेंद्र जी के लिए, मधुलिका सिन्हा जी ने भेजा है। What is the message for a common man towards nature that everyone can do as routine for a society? Manvendra, this question is for you from Madhulika Sinha.
Yeah, I just reverted online that the simple answer is that every action that you take has a cost. So before taking that action, if we can just think through how much is that cost, and more importantly, who is paying that cost, will give us the awareness that we should not do anything that we would not have done to ourselves. Because ultimately, we are mere custodians of the land and societies that we are borrowing from the children to come. And yeah, that's my short answer.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I think anyone else? Last question.
जस्ट विजय जी,
हाँ जी.
हाँ जी, थोड़ा सा मैं जो पूरा वार्तालाप था बहुत अच्छा था, और सभी जितने भी हमारे स्पीकर थे वो पूरी तरह से मतलब टॉपिक के अराउंड ही थे, और विजय सिन्हा साहब जी ने बड़ा अच्छा इसको मॉडरेट किया, और बहुत ध्यानपूर्वक मैंने बहुत कुछ सीखा इस प्लेटफॉर्म से। लेकिन जो इस पूरे मतलब एक जो आज का माहौल बन गया उसमें दो तीन चीजें हैं। जैसे आप लोगों ने अहिंसा और अपरिग्रह शब्द का बहुत बार बार इस बात पे इंगित किया, और ये आज की नहीं है, भारत में ये जो विचार है करीब जितना मैं समझता हूँ करीब 80 लाख मतलब 8 मिलियन ईयर्स बिफोर ऋषभ देव साहब ने ये दिए थे विचार अपरिग्रह का और इनका। पहले भारत भोग भूमि थी, उसके बाद ये कर्म भूमि बनी है, तो उस समय से ये विचार चल रहे हैं, और आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में काफी इंपॉर्टेंस है अपरिग्रह और अहिंसा की। लेकिन जहां हम इनकी बात तो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं हमारे व्यवहार में ये खत्म हो चुका है, और हम दूसरे के प्रति काफी ईर्ष्या भी है, थोड़ा सा हेट्रेड भी डेवलप हो चुका है, और हम अपने प्रति भी काफी रोष रखते हैं। खासतौर से इधर बच्चों के बीच में मानसिक समस्याएं और सुसाइड बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रहा है, और उसका कारण कहीं ना कहीं ये जो मोबाइल फोन पे हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा समय बिता रहे हैं और स्क्रोलिंग कर रहे हैं। तो मेरा आग्रह है यूनाइटेड कॉन्शियसनेस के इस प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से, डॉक्टर तोमर के माध्यम से, हम सभी गुणीजन लोग एक प्रस्ताव पारित करें, और भारत में ओटीटी और जो ये व्यवस्था बन चुकी है स्क्रीनिंग पे बार बार समय बिताने की, इससे मानव जाति को भारी क्षति पहुंच रही है, और हमारा युवा बिल्कुल स्टूपिड होता जा रहा है, और उनका दिमाग किसी काम में अब नहीं लग रहा है। हम लोग ये चैलेंज अपने डेली लाइफ में महसूस कर रहे हैं, क्लासरूम में भी, और अब बच्चों को कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है किसी भी पढ़ाई में, और एआई बची खसी जो कसर है वो भी खत्म कर देगा। तो इस प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से हम अपने देश के, समाज के और बड़े इश्यूज पर चर्चा करें आगे आने वाले समय में। जैसे आज बहुत अच्छे अच्छे इश्यूज पे हमारी बात चल रही है, इसको आगे बढ़ाएं। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सो मच। तो अब मैं समापन करना चाहूंगा, और चूंकि हम लोग ऑलरेडी 15 मिनट ज्यादा व्यतीत कर चुके हैं, और there has been a very enlightening discussion, different perspectives, and at last Dr. Jain and Dr. Rajni, Mohitji, all of you spoke about moksha, ahimsa, parigraha, which is which itself concludes the discussion today. I tell you, I came to know about it in detail from corporate perspective when BRSR reporting became mandatory for 1,000 companies 2022. Otherwise, it was a compliance by Environment Department. But when it came to social and governance, the role of HR became very predominant. And, we used to give the diversity index, and diversity for all of us meant only gender diversity. But when we started talking about it in board said that what is your diversity, with respect to especially abled people. And then we started creating roles, and so all this has come into our modern life. But all the panelists spoke about embedding this into our culture, into our living, into our behavior, and someone talked about that it all begins from me and my family, society, and in my neighborhood. And I think that only will help us, become very sustainable. Earlier, long time back after आज़ादी के बाद हम लोग रोटी कपड़ा और मकान की बात करते थे। उसके बाद बिजली सड़क और पानी की बात होने लगी, क्योंकि रोटी कपड़ा और मकान बहुत हद तक हमने उस समस्या का निदान कर लिया। और अब अभी AQI की बात होती है। AQI has become so important, and I was going through, one video where an old man on oxygen was crying, after paying the bill of $6,000, and somebody asked that, why are you crying? You don't have money to pay. He said that, no, $6,000 is nothing for me. I'm a rich man, but I'm crying that, lifelong for so many years, I've been getting this oxygen free of cost, and how much I have received from the nature, if I account for, the economic value, it will be multi-billion-dollar. So I think it's time now to, preserve our nature consciously and start spreading awareness. Now, I would like to take 1 minute to seek, feedback from the participants or anyone else who would like to speak about, how can we improve this? Any feedback you have for a better discussion? 1 minute, only 1 minute, because we do not have time. Anyone else? Otherwise, I'll move on to the next.
नो फीडबैक। बहुत अच्छा था सिन्हा साहब, बहुत अच्छे से आपने काफी कम समय में बहुत सारे सवाल पूछ लिए। मुझे लगता है स्पीकर्स को आपने पर्याप्त यूज किया है।
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let me close this formally with vote of thanks. First of all to Vikrant Tomar ji, जो हमारे सूत्रधार हैं, और he has been getting all of us together and inspiring us to contribute to the best of our knowledge and ability. Thanks to our fellow panelists, all of you brought very enlightening perspective and very, very practical perspective. Some of the small examples which you gave was very, very, thought-provoking. And we realized that a lot of time we end up doing big things, but a lot of small things, small actions can change our lives so much. Thanks to all the participants, our council members, and for our technicians and everybody who has helped us do this without any glitches. Thank you so much for making this an enriching learning experience.